Hello and welcome, Flesh and Blood fans. This is Calebovitsch coming to you with another episode of VeteRandom Thoughts. After several episodes of experimenting with this new format and topic, I decided to slightly alter my schedule. You might have noticed no episode this past Wednesday. That is because I will be doing these just on Sundays, 4 p.m. CEST, with the episodes being somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes long depending on the topic. And on the topic of the topic, today's topic is going to be the metagame in Flesh and Blood, how it is shaped, and how it evolves on the example of post-Everfest classic constructed meta. Let's dive in. Usually, when you approach a metagame, you want to get a good feeling of what is out there. The best way of doing this is to gather data on which decks are being played and how they perform. No, Azalea is still a bad idea, don't. You should look at the results of the latest big events such as Pro Tour, Calling, Battle-Hardened, and ProQuest. Those decklists are available on fabtcg.com, amongst other places. It is also good to look at your local armories, because those are the places where you will usually be playing. In this example, before the release of Everfest, Briar was quite dominant, to the point of being errata'd and Ball Lightning and Plunder Run getting banned. That meant that decks that tried to beat Briar, for example Oldhim, were quite popular. On the other hand, decks that lost to Briar, like Prism, were not seen too often. Fast forward to February 4th, 2022. What do we see in Everfest? A lot of good and great cards for all classes, and a new adult hero, Bravo, star of the show. When it comes to the existing classes, the two biggest winners, in my opinion, were Runeblades, with the addition of very powerful Swarming Gloomveil, Revel in Runeblood, and Runic Reclamation, and Illusionist with the blue auras and Miraging Metamorph. I mean, don't get me wrong, other classes also got great tools, like, example, Pulverize for Guardian. The biggest influence on the format would still come from Bravo 2.0. Bravo, star of the show, seemed like a meme hero at first. All of Arya's elements at your disposal meant he was like Oldhim, but with Lightning and Crippling Crush. All you need to have are 3 elemental cards in hand to trigger his powerful ability. Your first attack in a turn that costs 3 or more gets +2 strength, dominate, and go again. Not going to happen too often, right? I even found a calculator online that told you the probability of drawing into the Fusion, or the Casino, or Captain Planet, depending on how many of the elemental cards you were running. So let's say you were running 15 cards of each element plus 3 double element pulses. That gives you around a 1 in 3 chance of having the Fusion on your turn. If you add Crown of Seeds redrawing into this equation, the probability of getting the Casino goes up to around 1 in 2, so 50%. So wait, let me get this straight. If you build a deck that has 48 elemental cards and pulses, and 12 attack/utility/other cards, you will be firing this one up that often? Add to that often used plans of holding on to a pulse in hand for 2/3 of Captain Planet, and the fact that all of the Earth attack cards, all of the Earth cards are attacks that cost 3. What started out as a meme became the dominant deck in the metagame, one that could turn a 3-card hand of any blue lightning, any blue ice, and any red earth card into 9, dominate, go again, swing with Frosty Hammer for 4. That 13 damage swing and a bit of resource taxation was what the Tier 0 Doctor ordered. Add to that the comeback potential from Awakening fuse into a 0-cost Pulverize, if you had just 5 less health than your opponent. Attacking with cards that make your opponent lose cards from their hand or lose the Go Again ability for the whole turn, that pushed all aggro decks out, like the previously dominant Briar, out of the metagame almost entirely. The other decks that started to populate the meta were to be counters for this strategy and for this hero. One was OTK, that is 1-turn kill, Viserai, that amass a dozen or 2 rune chants before an explosive Sonata Arcanix turn, fueled by Bloodsheath Skeleton. This was quite defensive, just blocking with and filtering their hand, most of their hand, and playing cards that generated rune chants, like Read the Runes Mordred Tide and the like, not attacking, not blowing those up, just waiting before finally blowing up for a massive arcane damage explosion, followed by several attacks on that same turn. Another deck that came to the front was Prism, on the back of Briar not being the predator anymore. Playing the elastic triple plan game of Heralds, Auras, and Spectral Shields was a pain in the neck for many Bravos for a while. Then the ProQuest season came and went. Results? Still a huge Bravo star of the show domination. Weeks went by and we got a banned and suspended announcement a few weeks before Pro Tour New Jersey. No more Awakening and a lot of suspensions, that is, cards being temporarily banned until certain heroes reach the Living Legend status. Autumn's Touch, Bloodsheath Skeleton, and Seeds of Agony, with the last one moving from banned to suspended until Chain is out of the game. Star of the show got hit really hard. No more Awakening comebacks against aggro decks. 9 cards, Autumn's Touches, had their defense value slashed from 3 to 2, being replaced by other Earth attacks. Would that make Briar come back? Maybe Lexi? Would Chain get back from the shadows? On the other hand, one of the other top contenders got hit even harder, with the OTK plan for Viserai no longer being available. The deck turned to a more aggro or mid-range variant, but in the end, it couldn't hold its own against other decks in the meta. Meanwhile, Prism stayed where she was, gleeful and laughing at the others. Things started moving and evolving really quickly, as you might have seen at the Pro Tour coverage. Starvo started teching mainly for Mirrors and Prism. Prism needed to outlive some resurgent aggro plans and still have a decent game against Bravo. Chain came back with a vengeance, with Carrion Husk being able to almost fully block one critical Bravo hit. Some people here locally said that these 3 main decks in the metagame played a bit like rock, paper, scissors, with Bravo being good against Chain, Chain being good against Prism, and Prism being good against Bravo. Obviously, depending on builds and play patterns, your results may vary. For example, Bravo might just be winning against everything, right? Duo, right? Anyway, then the Pro Tour came, and obviously a lot of people wanted to solve the metagame by introducing Lizard or Spock into the game. Some attempts were more fruitful than others. With many decks teching against the big 3, not a lot of people remembered to bring Arcane Barrier with them and let Kano back in, straight into the top 8, 2 players. After the big, huge, successful tournament, with ProQuest Season 2 now going strong, the metagame is still evolving. People are bringing Arcane Barrier back with them. Bravos tech heavily against mirror matches. I even saw a Chain player pull out a Talisman of Tithes against my Bravo so that I don't draw a card from Crown of Seeds on their turn. In the meantime, Bravo hit the Living Legend status. Chain will probably do so in the next couple of weeks. These changes will go into effect on June the 24th, 2022, with the release of the new big set Uprising. So, that means 2 new heroes will be out. 3 new heroes will be in. Dromai, a Draconic Illusionist, Phi, a Hot-Headed Ninja, and Icelander, the Frosty Wizard Lady. Who will be left out? Who will dominate? Fight! I know I will. See you at the tables.